Two best friends, 2 months apart, and one terrifying mystery. In early 2002, the quiet town of Oregon City was shaken to its core. Two young girls, Ashley Pond and Miranda Gaddis, vanished without a trace. What started as a normal school morning turned into a nightmare that no one saw coming. And the truth behind their disappearance was far darker than anyone could have imagined. A town that felt safe until it wasn't. Oregon City, a quiet suburb just outside of Portland, wasn't the kind of place where bad things happen. It was a small town where everyone knew each other. Kids played in the streets, neighbors chatted over fences, and families felt safe. But that sense of security was about to be shattered. It all started on the morning of January 9th, 2002. 12-year-old Ashley Pond was running late for school. She had woken up early, but time had slipped away, and now she was rushing to catch the school bus. She lived in the Newell Creek Village Apartments, a low-income housing complex where many families live close together. Ashley had a routine. She would leave her apartment, walk down the hill, and meet up with her best friend Miranda Gaddis before heading to the bus stop. But this time something was different. Ashley left her home, but she never made it to the bus stop. When her teachers noticed she wasn't in class, they assumed she was sick or had overslept. But by the end of the day, when Ashley's mother, Lori Pond, realized her daughter hadn't come home, panic set in. Ashley wasn't the type to run away. She was outgoing, athletic, and a member of the local dance team. She loved spending time with her friends, and she had a big competition coming up, something she had been excited about for weeks. Something was very wrong. The moment Ashley was reported missing, the police launched a search. Flyers with her face were plastered all over town. Volunteers scoured nearby parks, wooded areas, and abandoned buildings. The local news covered the story, urging anyone with information to come forward. Days passed, then weeks, and still, no sign of Ashley. Rumors began to spread. Some believed she had run away, while others feared something much worse. But without any leads, the case quickly went cold. Ashley's mother, Lori, was devastated. She refused to give up hope, appearing on news stations, pleading for her daughter's safe return. But with no witnesses, no clues, and no sign of Ashley, the town was left with nothing but unanswered questions. Then exactly 2 months later, the unthinkable happened again. March 8th, 2002. Another girl vanishes. It was a Friday morning. 13-year-old Miranda Gaddis, Ashley's best friend, was getting ready for school. She had spent the morning doing her usual routine, straightening her hair, packing her bag, and chatting with her mother before heading out the door. Just like Ashley, Miranda lived in the Newell Creek Village Apartments, just a few doors away from her missing best friend. But that morning, something changed the course of her life forever. At 8 a.m., Miranda stepped out of her apartment to catch the bus. She was supposed to meet her friends, but she never arrived at school. When her mother, Michelle Duffy, returned home later that day, she instantly knew something was off. The house was silent. Miranda's hair straightener was still warm, sitting on the counter, almost as if she had been interrupted mid-routine. Michelle's heart sank. She called Miranda's school, hoping there had been some kind of misunderstanding. But when they told her Miranda had never shown up, Michelle felt pure terror. She called the police immediately. Her daughter was missing. But this wasn't just any missing person case. This was the second girl to disappear under almost identical circumstances. And she wasn't just any girl. She was Ashley Pond's best friend. The news spread like wildfire. Two girls, 2 months apart, same neighborhood, same school. This wasn't a coincidence. Parents clung to their children tighter. Schools reinforced security. People double-checked their locks at night. The once safe streets of Oregon City now felt dangerous, haunted by an invisible predator. Theories swirled. Some believed a serial kidnapper was targeting young girls. Others suspected someone within the community, maybe a teacher, a bus driver, or even a neighbor. Fear turned into paranoia. The police intensified their search efforts. Officers knocked on every door in the apartment complex, questioned neighbors, and retraced both girls' last known steps. Helicopters scanned the nearby woods. Dogs sniffed for any trace of Ashley or Miranda. But there was nothing. No signs of a struggle, no eyewitnesses, no evidence. It was as if the girls had vanished into thin air. As the days turned into weeks, the town was left with more questions than answers. How could two girls disappear in broad daylight without a single witness? Were Ashley and Miranda targeted by the same person? Was it someone they knew? Families were terrified. The local news covered the case relentlessly. Flyers with Ashley and Miranda's faces covered the city. Everyone was looking for answers. But what no one knew was that the truth was much closer than they thought. Because the person responsible for these disappearances wasn't a stranger lurking in the shadows. He was right there, hiding in plain sight. And when police finally uncovered the truth, it would send shockwaves through the entire community. Two girls gone without a trace. The town was desperate for answers. But the truth? It was far more horrifying than anyone could have imagined. And the man responsible was hiding in plain sight. With two girls missing from the same neighborhood, the police knew they weren't dealing with random disappearances. The first place they looked? Friends and family. They re-interviewed Ashley and Miranda's families, teachers, classmates, anyone who might have known something. They combed through the apartment complex questioning neighbors, but no one had seen anything suspicious. That's when investigators turned their attention to known offenders in the area. They started looking into people with criminal pasts, particularly those with a history of violence or abuse. And that's when a familiar name came up. A man who lived just a few doors away from the girls. Someone the girls knew and trusted. His name was Ward Weaver III. Who was Ward Weaver? To many in Oregon City, Ward Weaver seemed like an ordinary guy. A single father raising his kids. A man with a normal-looking house. But behind closed doors, he was a monster. His own father, Ward Weaver Jr., was a convicted murderer, serving life in prison for brutally killing a young couple. And Ward III? He was following in his father's footsteps. Over the years, multiple women had accused him of abuse, but nothing ever stuck. He always managed to slip through the cracks. Even more chilling, Ashley Pond was afraid of him. Months before she vanished, Ashley had told friends that Weaver made her uncomfortable. She had even told her mother she didn't want to go near him, but at the time, no one thought he was dangerous. Months passed, no sign of the girls. The town was on edge. Then something disturbing happened. A local news crew was covering the case. They decided to interview Ward Weaver since he had been one of the last people to see the girls alive. What he said on camera sent chills down everyone's spine. The police are trying to say I'm the prime suspect, but they ain't got nothing on me. I know I'm the logical choice, but they're gonna feel real stupid when they find out I didn't do it. The way he spoke, the casual tone, the lack of fear. It didn't sit right with anyone. Even Miranda's mother, Michelle Duffy, had a gut feeling. She went on TV, looked into the camera, and made a bold accusation. I think Ward Weaver killed my daughter. At the time, police didn't have enough evidence to arrest him. But her words, they were terrifyingly accurate. By August 2002, the case had gone cold. 6 months had passed since Ashley disappeared. 4 months since Miranda was last seen. Then, the unexpected happened. A teenage girl, someone Weaver knew, came forward with a horrifying story. She told police that Weaver had attacked her inside his home. She had been beaten, assaulted, and barely escaped. It was the break the police had been waiting for. They immediately arrested Ward Weaver, and once he was behind bars, they searched his property. What they found there would haunt Oregon City forever. Police had always been suspicious of Weaver's backyard. Something felt off. Weaver had recently poured concrete over part of it, claiming he was building a patio. Then near the edge of the property, they made a horrifying discovery. Under the concrete slab, they found human remains. Not far from there, another body was buried in a storage shed. It was Ashley Pond and Miranda Gaddis. The girls had been there the whole time, buried in the backyard of the very man who had comforted the community, who had gone on TV, who had pretended to be innocent. The entire town was in shock. For months they had searched forests, rivers, and abandoned buildings. They had put up flyers, organized candlelight vigils, prayed for their return. And all along the girls were buried just a few feet away from where they had lived. It was a horrific betrayal. And the truth about Ward Weaver was even darker than anyone had feared. With the horrifying discovery of Ashley Pond in Miranda Gaddis remains, Ward Weaver was immediately charged with multiple counts of murder, kidnapping, and abuse. The community was in shock. How had this man managed to hide in plain sight for so long? But what was even more disturbing, Weaver wasn't even trying to deny it anymore. During his interrogation, he casually admitted to the murders. "Yeah, I did it. You already know I did it." No remorse, no emotion. When asked why, he had no real answer. No regret, no guilt. He pleaded guilty to both murders to avoid the death penalty. Instead, he received 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole. The families of Ashley and Miranda had spent months searching for their daughters, holding on to hope, only to find out they had been buried just feet away from where they had once laughed, played, and dreamed. Oregon City would never be the same. The case shook the entire country, sparking discussions about child safety, missing persons investigations, and the dangers that can lurk within a community. Even scarier? Weaver was not a random predator. He was someone the girls knew, someone their families had trusted. After the case, Oregon took major steps to improve missing persons investigations and child protection laws. More awareness campaigns were launched to teach children and families about warning signs of predatory behavior. The phrase stranger danger was no longer enough. The real lesson? Sometimes the danger isn't from a stranger at all. It's from someone you already know. These stories of Ashley Pond and Miranda Gaddis are heartbreaking. They were young, full of life, and had their future stolen from them, but their legacy lives on. Their case changed how missing children cases are handled. Their families fought to ensure no other parents would have to go through the same pain. Their story is a reminder that evil can hide in plain sight, but it can also be uncovered. Injustice, no matter how delayed, can still be served. What do you think about this case? Do you think Ward Weaver's punishment was enough? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another true crime story. If you found this story chilling, check out our other videos for more shocking cases. Stay safe, stay aware, and always trust your instincts.